friends. Welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. This is Katie. Welcome if you are new here. I'm so glad that you're here and hope that you will consider subscribing. And if you are back, welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. So today we are going to be doing a WIP and Chat together. WIP stands for Work in Progress, and Chat, well, we're just going to chat and catch up a little bit. So feel free to settle in with whatever project you might have going, whether it is something crafty or stuff around the house or background and music, background chatter in your car, whatever works for you. Just a chance for us to catch up a little bit. And of course, as always, please let me know in the comments how you're doing this week and what you are working on. So let me give you really quickly just all the stats for all the things tonight. So the kit I'm working on, which you absolutely cannot tell from this little snapshot, this is Saltwater, which is the new Greta Lusky piece from Distracted by Diamonds. I was lucky enough to snag it after the first few restocks and immediately started it. So tonight I'm going to be using one of my pens from Lazy River Wood Turning, and this is one that has a special place in my heart because it was part of the customer appreciation series. This one's called Dreaming of Diamonds and Washi. I guess I'm the namesake. This minder is from the Creative Palace. The tray is from Muni Made, and then I am using WeWax tonight in honor of the owner of WeWax, which is Laura over at Anxiety Art Adventures. I believe she's planning to have a WeWax restock this upcoming Friday, April 2nd, April 1st. What's today? Math is hard. April 2nd. I'll be sure to link her Etsy shop and her YouTube channel below, but I'm excited because she's had a little break from it, and I really like her new 2.0 formula. I am testing out over here. This is the AliExpress set of containers that is super similar to the Elizabeth Ward containers. I'm testing this out as part of a part 2 on my alternatives to the ever popular, including for me, Elizabeth Ward storage set. So once I finish this kit, because when I'm testing out new things, I like to test them out for a couple weeks, and maybe for the length of a kit, before I give you guys my thoughts. So I'll have more on that later. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm gonna go ahead and peel back this section and we'll get into it. So I just want to ask again, how are you doing this week? I am, let's see. Okay, so I did a live with you guys on, hold on a second. I want to adjust that because I want it to be visible for us. Okay. I really enjoyed going live with you guys on Sunday. Which before I get into that, I should give you guys the caveat. I don't know how long this WIP and Chat is going to be. I know they're normally an hour for me, but I had my first COVID vaccine today, this morning, and I'm having the really common side effect where it's just making me really tired later in the day. So I had it this morning and I'm filming this evening because I felt like I had so much to share with you guys. And I'd like to next week get back to sort of my groove of posting WIP and Chats on Mondays. I didn't do a WIP and Chat this Monday because you all had just heard me talk for an hour and a half on Sunday. So I didn't really want to do 2 days in a row. Maybe you want to hear my voice that much. I don't want to hear my voice that much. So I'm not going to subject you to it. Let me grab a color. Of course, you guys, okay. The section that I picked is probably not the most ideal section because it has lots of dark symbols, but quite honestly, maybe this will be motivation for me to get through it because these dark colors are sadly like my least favorite part of this canvas, and there's lots of dark colors here in this bottom corner. Okay. Let's go with this one, but it'll, I'll get to keep up with it while we're doing this WIP and Chat together. So, like I said, I really, really enjoyed the live with you guys on Sunday. It seemed to work out really well for a lot of people that haven't been able to make it to the Tuesday night lives that I've been doing. So that was really, really, really fun. It was also really nice for me to not have the sort of timer ticking in the back of my mind, because when I go live, if I go live on Tuesday evenings, I really can't do it for more than an hour because I have to sort of shift around my kids' bedtime, like dinner time and then my kids' bedtime. So yeah, so it was nice to mix it up that way. I had a lot of fun. And so a huge thank you to anyone that was able to come live and hung out, whether or not you were chatting with us or if you were just lurk and working. That's totally fine too. I really, really appreciate all the support in all the forms that it takes, including if you watch the replay. I'm getting really frustrated with YouTube and if you are a fellow creator, feel free to chime in here, because when I've talked with YouTube customer service, they have not been helpful in this sense, but I've gone live a total of 3 times on my channel just this past month. So I know it's not a lot, but every single time I go live and then it goes to put up the video after I've gone live, it is not like putting up the live chat or letting me go in and, add in any iCards, the little cards that pop up in the top right. It acts like it's still in processing. Like it'll say that it's in processing. And I feel like that's I get frustrated on behalf of you guys, not for myself. I get frustrated for you guys because if you are watching the replay, I don't feel like lives, and this is just me, I don't feel like lives are nearly as enjoyable to watch if I can't follow along with the live chat, because I'm just going to be hearing the person that's going live talking about, things people are saying in the chat and responding to it. And in the replay, if I can't see it, I just feel like that much more separated from it, and it kind of turns me off to even watching the replay. So I don't know why it's doing that. Yes, I make sure that I have live chat enabled. It just seems to take like 12 to 24 hours for the live chat to go up, which is fine. I don't seem to see that necessarily happening to other creators, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and YouTube is not being helpful for me. Okay, moving on from that. So I'm kind of thinking I'm really enjoying going live more than I expected to. It's so much fun for me. I really, really enjoy that way of getting to interact with you guys. It is so much fun. It makes me feel like I'm really building friendships and community with you guys. I hope that you feel the same. And so, if at all possible, I'd love to try to do it on a semi-regular basis. I know when I started out, I said, okay, I'm just going to try it and see how it goes. I'm not committing to anything. But then I ended up doing 3 lives in the month of March, which was crazy. Not even remotely what I had planned or thought would happen, but I am not complaining because it was fun. So here's my thought. Because Tuesdays generally work fairly well for me and my schedule, and because it seems to be like there's an open slot I can sort of go into there, I think that I might try going live on Tuesdays. Sorry for my neighbor's dog. Maybe like every other week, and then maybe once a month, like doing a Sunday or something. The thing is, there are a lot of creators that go live on Sundays, and so I don't want to potentially be pulling people from them or just be generally being rude by sort of stepping in a spot that someone else goes live regularly. So that's kind of my thought. Would you enjoy if I were going live semi-regularly, or are you like, cool your jets? Let's, make it a little fewer and further between, because I could also just do like once a month and call it good, or every few weeks or something. So that's kind of on my brain. And what else do I have going in my brain? I am working on a couple of videos to bring to you guys. Hopefully, maybe this week. I'd like to get a post review filmed of. There was a piece that I worked on that you guys haven't actually seen on this channel yet, because in my WIP and Chat last week, I was just finishing up. Good grief, it's only been just over a week. Black hole in the Milky Way. And then promptly started a little kind of snack size kit, which if you follow me on Instagram, which my Instagram is linked below in the description if you'd like to check out my account over there. I do tend to post daily. If you follow me over there, you did see the kit that I was working on, and that was the Quirky Fox from, the name of the company now is Mindfulness Diamond Painting. When I purchased that kit, the company was called the Diamond Painting Factory UK. I almost said painting with diamonds. A lot of these companies just have really similar names, okay? So I had bought this kit last summer, and it's just had been sitting in my stash, and I actually, when I finished Black Hole in the Milky Way last week, and I had every intention of pulling out an entirely different kit to work on next while I was waiting for this piece to come in, the Greta Lusky piece to come in. I was going through my portfolio, and Quirky Fox just was yelling at me that I needed to work on that piece instead. So I said, okay. Does that ever happen to you guys where you think, you have one project, you're like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna work on next, and then you go to actually pull it out, and another project just leaps into your hands. And you're like, oh, I guess I'm doing this one now. I so thoroughly enjoyed working on that kit, and I'm anxious to share a post review with you all. And that post review, I feel like, is going to have a caveat where it's not specifically about this company. I need to dig into it a little bit more before I put up that official post review. But this thing is happening lately where companies that I am having this really fantastic experience with, and mind you, companies that I'm ordering from just as a person, not as they knew I had a YouTube channel and so they gave me special treatment. Companies that I've ordered from and had a positive experience with, I'm then hearing really polar opposite stories that are, more recent from other people in the diamond painting community. And so I'm torn. And this is something I guess I'm curious for your thoughts on, where I want to just be sharing very honestly and authentically about, okay, this was my experience. I don't want to speak for other people because I'm not in their shoes. I don't have the full context of everything, even if they're, sharing what, all of the details. But at the same time, it feels like, well, I have a finger on the pulse of what's happening in the community just by virtue of being very highly involved on Instagram and on YouTube. And when I'm seeing, other people sharing these really dicey experiences, I almost feel like almost a sense of responsibility. Should I be letting you guys know, yes, I had this really great experience, but I don't know, maybe I can sort of phrase it in a more gracious and tactful way, and just, remind people to not just take my word for it. If there's a company they're thinking from ordering from, or a kit they're thinking of trying, maybe I can just try to remind people in those post-review videos that, keep in mind that this is just my experience. I can give kind of the context for, the dates that I ordered, and that sort of thing, and encourage people to, if they're thinking of ordering from a company, to also go ahead and check out, to search for and check out other reviews that other creators have done, or, you know, even just go to Instagram and search hashtags for the shop they're thinking of buying from. I don't know. Like I said, I'm torn between, I'm trying to find the balance. I don't want to make assumptions based on what I'm hearing about other people's experiences, but I also don't want to be inadvertently misleading. Does that make sense? Yeah, because I know some of you will probably say, stay in your lane, just share about you. And others of you might be like, you had this really fantastic experience, so I thought I was going to have the same kind of experience, but I had this terrible experience, and then come to find out that most other people have had a bad experience. Does that make sense? Okay. Moving on from that, feel free to share your thoughts candidly in the comments. That's completely fine. Anyway, all this to say, I think that post review is going to be coming soon. I just am thinking through the context of, like, I ordered that kit last summer when the company had a different name, and yeah, so anyway, what else do we have going on? Oh, the Minder video that just went up today, the day that I'm recording. It's Tuesday. I had lots of fun putting that together, and by lots of fun, I mean, oh my gosh, my friend Jacqueline is a saint, because I'm literally about to sit down to film. She's about to go to bed, and I'm looking at my minders and just thinking, like, okay, I'm gonna go through and match them to, like, my Etsy receipts and stuff, because I have such a terrible memory. I couldn't remember where most of those minders were from. I had to go back through and look at all of my Etsy orders, and then the various ones that Jacqueline has sent me over the past year. Like, I hadn't kept track of where those were from, and so I'm sending her, like, pictures, like, okay, where was this one from? I'm sorry. And even still, there were a few that, like, I had forgotten to check with her on, and anyway, I do feel really bad, though. There was a really pretty, of course I didn't bring it over with me, there was a really pretty, like, dragon or mermaid scale heart that was on my first page with my dragons and mermaids. It's one of the ones I couldn't remember where it was from. It was a gift from my very, very, very sweet friend, Steph, whose drills are a girl's best friend. And I felt so bad. I felt so bad when she messaged, she's like, that was from me, and it was from DP with Sparklers. And I was like, I am the worst friend ever. I can't believe that I forgot that. So I have a list now of where all my minders are from, and I'm going to keep it updated. Anyone else, I asked this last week, anyone else just feeling like they're really struggling with memory things? Someone had mentioned in the comments of that video, or had, like, messaged me, and I'm sorry, I'm not remembering who did that, which is really on theme with the subject, with the idea of being forgetful. Someone had commented saying that I guess it's kind of a thing when people are dealing with, like, really high stress and traumatic situations, such as being in a global pandemic for a year, that often that's a way that our brain just chemically can react. So we just don't retain memory. Short-term memory, long-term memory. See, here it is, Exhibit A. Our brains just don't retain memories as well. So that explains a lot, on top of, you know, children melting my brain. But yeah, so it was fun still to go through and sort of figure everything out with where those minders were from. I really enjoyed sharing that with you guys. So far, so good. Knock on wood, as far as I haven't gotten any sassy or disparaging comments. Maybe that's less likely on a Minder video for some reason compared to, like, pen videos. But I love my little Minder collection. They make me so happy. I mean, look at the beautiful colors in this. Like, how could you not love having a bunch of cute things like that to keep you company while you craft? So what else has been going on? I got my COVID shot this morning, and I mentioned that. But it was interesting because it was actually weirdly emotional for me. And that goes hand in hand with the fact that yesterday was my youngest, Micah, was his 3rd birthday. And last year, his 2nd birthday was overshadowed and marked by the beginning of us locking down. You know, we had a birthday party planned for him that I canceled at the last minute because it was still that blissful time where it was like, well, maybe next week it's going to be better. If someone had told me back then that it was going to be a year before, at least a year before things even started to look like they might be normal again, I'm glad that I didn't know that it was going to be this long. So anyway, between his birthday being yesterday and thinking that, oh my gosh, it's been a year. And then getting the vaccine, the first round this morning, which I got the Moderna. So I'll get round 2 in 4 weeks and I'll be fully vaccinated. But there was just something about like that really tangible thing. It's like, this is me doing something, doing my part to be able to move us forward as a society. This is me getting to gain some of my freedom back, and in a way that is honoring the needs of the people around me and not just being selfish. So yeah, it was, like I said, it was unexpectedly emotional. It was a little emotional when I got to book that appointment, which, in case you're wondering, no, I didn't do anything shady to cut the line whatsoever. I'm overweight. And that technically, according to the CDC, makes me higher risk and qualifies me by our state's standards for the tier that we're in to get a vaccination. So as it is, our state is opening up to everyone above the age of 16 because they haven't, fully tested on children yet, on April 15th. So, in just a couple of weeks here, it's going to be open to everyone. But anyway, I was emotional when I booked the appointment, and I after I got my shot and walked around the store sat in the store for 15 minutes, in the pharmacy for 15 minutes so that they can make sure I wasn't having an adverse reaction. And then I went to my car and I just had a minute where I just kind of cried and thought, okay, all right, here's just a milestone, a personal milestone. So I'm not sure if anyone else has had kind of a similar feeling, but like I said, I'm feeling like the end is in sight. And kind of with that in mind, we did make the decision. I can't remember if I said as much in my last WIP and Chat, to be honest. We did make the decision. We are sending Connor back to school when his school has kind of another onboarding date. So they've been doing hybrid learning for basically the whole school year. And as of April 19th, they are extending instruction hours, and Zoom is still going to be an option, but it's going to be Zoom for like the actual length of a school day, which was one motivation for us to go ahead and send Connor back, because going from, a couple hours in front of a computer for Zoom to 5 hours, minus lunch and pull-outs like gym and stuff. So, but no, he's so excited. We feel really good about it. My husband will have had his second shot by the time Connor is back in school. I will be getting my second shot a week after he goes back to school-ish. Yeah. So we're feeling relatively, confident, and we're feeling good about it. So I'm excited for that. That's emotional too, but I don't know. In case you haven't picked up on it here before, I am actually a huge sap. I'm very sentimental, highly empathetic. So in tune with my emotions. Yeah. So there's been a lot happening this past week and a half. A lot of big decisions being made. So I'm really, really looking forward to sending him back to school. And now I'm just trying to figure out, do I get him a new backpack? Because he's had the same backpack since he started the preschool program at the school 2.5 years ago. And it's in pretty good shape, but it almost feels like is this a back to school ish for, he's going to go back and be there for 2 months because our schools get out kind of late. So he'll be there for a good 2 months, and I don't want his backpack to fall apart, but we'll see. I'll have to take a closer look at it. I'll find his lunchbox wherever the heck I put that, because he'll be eating lunch at school again. It'll be weird. It'll be very weird to have him gone if he goes for the full day. That's 7:50 in the morning until 2:15 in the afternoon, because our school district, rather, it's not statewide, it's by school district. Last school year, our school district piloted full day kinder at a couple of the elementary schools in the district. It went really well, so they planned to launch full day kinder at all elementary schools in the district this year. They went ahead and still planned to do so, even with the pandemic, but since it has been a hybrid learning model for everyone, which means that kids are doing they're not calling it homework, they're calling it asynchronous work at home after they get home from school. So they're spending less time at the school. That means that the kindergartners this year haven't yet had that full day experience. So it's going to be an adjustment for everyone. I'm a little nervous how Connor is going to do. I think it's going to be a really big transition, but I had a really good conversation with his teacher before we made the decision, and I feel good about it. And, at the end of the day, it's just for 2 months. Even with him doing summer school, the summer school program is only half day. So he'd be doing full day for a couple of months and then go to half day summer school. And then first grade in the fall. That is wild. That is so, so wild to me. As far as Micah goes, like I said, he turned 3 yesterday. And so I was telling Adam last night at the end of the day, because we actually didn't end up getting to eat. We didn't get to end up getting to sing happy birthday to Micah and do the candle and everything, because Adam just completely unexpectedly had to work super, super late. And that kind of thing would have used to be really upsetting and emotional for me, because I've been it was our special day and it didn't look the way I wanted it to. Yeah, no, I've noticed this trend just over time that historically, for whatever reason, days that are supposed to be special days, birthdays, Valentine's Day, Christmas Day, like these kind of like event days, sort of milestones, or those kinds of like days, like those event days. Historically, those are like really not great days for us. It's like there's just, and completely out of anyone's control. Like, Adam didn't know he was going to have to work late. Things like that just seem to happen and would otherwise have just completely like ruined the day for us. So now when we have a special day coming up, like quite honestly, yesterday morning when we woke up, it's Micah's birthday. I'm like, okay, I'm gearing up for this to be a harder and less pleasant and less fun day than just a normal day in our house. And that is how the day went, but since I was mentally prepared for that, that's how it went. Now, I know, I'm guessing I'm already going to get some people saying that that's a defeatist attitude and I'm bringing it onto myself and blah, blah, blah. No, this is one of those cases where I'm going to say, no, I'm being a realist. And I'm trying not to set myself up for failure. I'm not going into the day going, I think today's going to be a terrible day. I'm going into the day going, I'm not going to place unrealistic expectations of what today is going to look like. And I mean, I handled it a lot better that way, to be honest with you. And at the end of the day, these are the kinds of things that don't matter too much. Like, instead, we sang happy birthday to Micah tonight. Fun fact, Micah is in a phase where if he sees something new and he feels like there's a spotlight on him or there's like an expectation of him or something like that, he gets like afraid of it and runs away. Last night, even though we didn't sing happy birthday, I still let the kids have cupcakes because I had been telling them all day we were going to have cupcakes after dinner. So even though Adam was working, we ate some cupcakes, just minus the singing happy birthday part. I've literally just set down the cupcake. Mind you, no candle, no like big fancy to do. I set a cupcake down on Micah's placemat where I always set his dinner. I set it down, and Micah saw me set it down and promptly ran away and hid on the couch. And I'm like, Micah, it's a cupcake. Like, this is a good thing. You're going to like it. Similarly, today when we opened up, well, yesterday and today, we kind of spread out the birthday gifts that were opened up just to not like overwhelm and overstimulate him. There was more than once that when we opened up the birthday gift and tried to like show it to him and give it to him, he like just got scared and ran away. It's like, this is not a bad thing. So that's new, like as of this past week, and I'm not 100% sure where it's coming from, but it's probably a similar place as, when kids have like stranger danger, it's an unknown thing. Maybe he's sensing sort of this expectation of like, or this pressure of like, I have to go and see this thing. It's being, forced upon me. And I'm like, dude, what kid gets upset when they see a cupcake and birthday presents? It's fine. He's allowed to react however he needs to react, but I just thought that was funny. And then naturally, Connor, like, even though I tried to give him lots of love and Micah was sharing his new toys with Connor, I think Connor was just having a hard time with it being a special day for Micah, that just there was any sort of extra attention on Micah. Again, I think that's really, really normal, and I think it's important for kids to work through those emotions and learn how to deal with jealousy and the idea that like the attention isn't always going to be on you. But that's something that's kind of human nature, is to be very self-centered. And we learn to be empathetic. We learn to be compassionate. So that's something we're working on with him. It's a little bit of an extra struggle, I think, because with him being autistic, there's a little bit of, for him, some rigidity. You know, he really thrives on a really consistent and predictable structure and routine. And so to have something that was even just a little bit different was an adjustment. But he really did fine. It was more of just there was a little bit of acting out and a little bit of difficulty with sharing, mostly like him wanting to sort of hoard Micah's new things. I don't know. I'm sure I did not handle it perfectly, but hopefully I'm not messing up my kids for life. But anyway. Also, I heard back from the school district about Micah and getting him assessed for a speech delay. It's actually going to be the same team that assessed Connor back when Connor was 3. And so we're going to do a Zoom meeting with them. We're on spring break right now. So next week, we're going to do a brief Zoom meeting to talk through some things. I'm going to fill out some paperwork ahead of time. This is all the kind of stuff that I'm very used to having done with Connor. So we'll do that Zoom meeting, and then we will go in person for an assessment after that. When we did it with Connor, I want to say it was 2 different in-person sessions, but I'm sure that with coronavirus, they are limiting that. Though all the school staff, I did check, they're fully vaccinated, and it'll be done safely and all of that. But I'm anxious to hear what they will recommend and what the assessment results will come back as. They are planning to do sort of a comprehensive evaluation. I guess that's relatively normal for 3-year-olds that they have coming in, which, by the way, if you're not familiar, I wouldn't necessarily expect you to be. Many states in the U.S., the way that it works is there's government funding for kiddos with special needs under the age of 3 that goes through things like, out here we have regional centers. Once they turn 3, they transition to the school district, your local school district. Anyway, so this more comprehensive exam assessment they're going to be doing of Micah will include some screenings for autism, which is fine. It'll also screen for, if there are any OT or like physical therapy type things that he might need services for. But, they did mention, they said just especially since there is a sibling with an autism diagnosis, we do really like to do a comprehensive screening if you're okay with that. And I said, of course. I really appreciate having outside perspectives because, it's hard to, as a parent, it's really hard to look at it with an objective lens. I'd argue it's impossible for parents to look at their kids and, delays with a totally objective lens. So if nothing else, I really value the school team's insight. I don't suspect really that Micah is also autistic, but I also recognize that autism can look very different in different kids. So we'll see. In my mind, it doesn't really matter. Like if he is going to have that label, in the sense that, like, I'm not going to get hung up on, like, a diagnosis. I just want to get him things that will help him. I just want to get him access to services that'll be helpful for him to thrive just as a person. And to, I want him to get some speech services so that he feels like he can communicate more with us, because I can see how frustrated he gets. Though today he did decide to throw us for just a little bit of a loop by, like, just pulling some words out. He does this often, where he'll just say words that we didn't know that he knew. And today he was all about the cupcake today. He was afraid of the cupcake yesterday, all about the cupcake today. And then plain as day, I was like, Micah, it's time for cupcakes. We're going to sing happy birthday. Do you want a cupcake? And he said, plain as day, cupcake. And then just kept saying cupcake. Never heard that word out of his mouth otherwise. So we'll see. I know that in this assessment, they're going to ask me, how many words does Micah have? And I'm going to be like, heck if I know. Like, honestly, I think he knows way more words than he uses. So are you asking me what words he says? Okay, if so, are you asking me, like, do words that he said one time count? Words that he only repeats versus spontaneous, which is like unprompted. So, I mean, I'm sure I can ask those questions and give them the context, but honestly, if they ask me for a number of words that he knows, I don't know how I'm going to answer that. That's a common question with speech therapy assessments. How many words do they know? Ask him. So, oh goodness. So, with Micah's having his 3rd birthday, it was another milestone for us in another way, because I have 2 kids. I've been talking about them pretty much nonstop for the last half hour. Those are my only 2 kids. I'm not neglecting mentioning anyone else. And the last time that I had a 3-year-old, I also had a newborn, because Connor was just a couple of months shy of turning 3 when we had Micah. So it's interesting to kind of look at the phase of life we're in now, because we're not planning to have any more kids. For a huge variety of reasons. We feel like our family is like, this is really good for us. There's financial implications if we were to have a 3rd. Just my mental health, I think, I am very transparent and open about how I have struggled with some mental health issues, and, well, am still struggling. Anxiety and depression. And that really flares the worst when I'm in that first year and a half postpartum, because with newborns, you don't know how much sleep you're going to get. There's just this enormous burden placed on you as a mom to an infant. And it feels like it takes me until, with both of my kids, they were probably 1.5 before I felt like a person again, and not just like someone that was barely surviving because I was trying to take care of these kiddos. And meet, their every need, especially because I've nursed both of my kiddos, and that's, to be the main person that's able to feed them, that's a lot too. So all this to say, I think it would probably be best for my mental health if we did not have a 3rd child. So we feel like we're done. But it also feels like, okay, now we're moving into this next sort of phase. Sorry for the loud noises. This is the first time I've changed a color since we started this WIP and Chat, because 939, all of this. I don't know if you noticed, but there you go. Let me grab another one real quick. We'll keep going. So we're moving into this sort of next phase of life where it feels like soon, like Micah's really gradually kind of getting to that age where it's not going to be as massively stressful to go places with him. Like Connor is easy to, not that we've gone anywhere, like, who am I kidding? But just generally, like, I wouldn't stress about taking Connor on a plane to travel to see family or to go on a vacation. Whereas Micah is still kind of the age where I'm like, that would be so stressful for me because he would just be trying to get into trouble all the time. And I'm excited for this kind of next phase and the things that we'll be able to do. We have never taken like a family vacation, the four of us. So I am dying to do something like that once it's safe to travel again. But there's something bittersweet about it. I have a few totes of clothes that Micah has outgrown, like baby clothes and some young toddler clothes, that the ones that I held on to because I didn't want to get rid of them in case we did decide we wanted to try to have another. So I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting to the point where I'm ready to like go through and get rid of those. We have the crib and the high chair and like the swing and the bouncer, like all those things are in our garage, taking up quite a lot of space because in California we don't have basements. I miss that about living in Ohio. Like my parents' basement, they have more square footage in their basement than we have in our entire home. I'm so jealous. Anyway, but like stuff that would really be helpful if I could, donate or just get out of my house. But it's bittersweet for me. And I'm positive that we're done. But it's hard, Transitions are hard. The other reason that I really don't know that I would want to try to have more kids is my body has a hard time getting and staying pregnant. It took us over a year to get pregnant with Connor. I mentioned this very briefly in the live, but I have endometriosis. I think that is one of the reasons that it was so hard to get pregnant with him. We had actually just had like our intake appointment with an infertility specialist and had scheduled this whole set of tests that they were going to do. And then, before they'd even started the tests, like a week after that intake, I found out I was pregnant. And then I had two losses in between Connor and Micah. And one was an ectopic pregnancy. And once you have one of those, your risk for having another is really high. And again, I think that's probably linked to the endometriosis. And so I just don't know if I have if my heart could handle going through like the process of even trying to get pregnant again. So you guys, I had no intention of like this going this way. So sorry to get like really deep there. I was just going to talk about sort of what it looks like to be moving to another phase and the things that I'm looking forward to about it, like family vacations and, having less of the bulky baby gear around and all of that. So I'm sorry if that was a little deep for you. But that's also, I suppose, a good opportunity for me to just share some love and solidarity with any of you here that might have also experienced a loss, like a miscarriage or something like that, or had trouble getting pregnant, I want you to know that you're not alone, because that kind of thing can be so incredibly lonely. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. My inbox is always open. And even if you don't want to talk, I hope that just knowing that you are not alone is something that just brings a little bit of light to you. So I'll use that just as a chance to reach out to those of you that might be going through something like that. You have all of my love. So anyway, let me move on to less heavy topics. I was going to shift back and talk just a little bit about this kit. So this kit, as I mentioned, this is Saltwater from Distracted by Diamonds and Gretel Lusky. It's from their brand new releases. And I am really, really, really happy with the quality overall. I think that Robin was really taking to heart some of the issues, the hiccups. They were relatively minor, but still, the hiccups that they had with their last round of kits, because I'm seeing very, very little in the way of issues with this kit. The one thing I have there's two things I've run into and noticed though. One is that there are two symbols on here that are so similar on the canvas, they're really difficult to tell apart. Let me see, where are they? Where's the other one? There it is. Okay, so here they are. There's an S and a 5, and they're both on like an olive background. I'm so glad that I noticed this and looked closely before I got too far into it, because I absolutely would have just straight up mixed these two up freely. So if you happen to have this kit for yourself, please keep an eye out for these. They're right next to each other all over the bottom part of this canvas. Yeah, I'll probably let Robin know, like, just an FYI, if you do another run of this kit, maybe change the symbols. Also, the dark drills in this kit have had a lot of trash, but that, I feel like, has been such a widespread problem with, like, companies across the board. Like, even Diamond Art Club is having major quality issues with their dark drills. So that's the other thing that's made this bottom part of the canvas a little more tedious to work on, is because I'm picking around some trash drills. The 310 are so bad. They're so bad. I really, really hope that, like, these drill manufacturers are able to, like, get this figured out. I understand that dark colors are often more mass produced, or something about the process makes them so much more trash prone, but come on. Can we please get it together? It's been months that this has been a problem. So this kit is it feels so big to me, and I don't know if that's because I'm coming off of some really, like, snack size kits, but this one is 62 centimeters by 71 centimeters. Did I say this already earlier in here, or did I say it on my live on Sunday, or did I say it to a friend? I don't know. If I'm repeating myself, sorry. That's a problem. A regular occurrence for me. I think this kit doesn't necessarily need to be this big, especially given the subject, but I'm not going to complain because I think that it's going to make for a really lovely detail. I did share in that live on Sunday, I showed off the sparklers that I got in for this kit, and my approach to it, though, is going to be the same as my approach with when I work on the DIY Moonshot kits, and they come with the special treatments that they don't tell you exactly where to put where they go. They just say, here are the areas that we recommend using these to enhance. So I have all these sparklers that came from DP with Sparklers, not sparklers, AB drills, AB square drills that I got from DP with Sparklers. And my approach to that is going to be to actually complete this kit as charted with regular drills, then look at it as a whole, and then look at the areas of the canvas once it's completed that I think that ABs would really elevate the canvas. And then I'll just pick out the drills that I want to replace with the ABs. It's a little more time consuming that way maybe, but that's, I think, how my brain works. I'll let you know how that process goes. I'm curious, is that a similar approach that you have if you pick up enhancements to try out and add to your kits? Or are you the kind of person that like never goes that route and you just will only do a kit as it's charted? Because that is usually me, but I decided to be brave on this canvas. So, all right, you guys, I have been chatting your ears off. I did make it to about an hour. I'm tired, but I'm not as tired as I was afraid I'd be. But I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight. If you made it all the way to the end, let's do, what should we do? A mermaid emoji in honor of this beautiful kit that I'm working on, which you've literally just seen this dark patch of. But it's pretty. We'll get into more of her face soon. I'm sure I'm still going to be working on this in next week's WIP and Chat, so you'll get to see more. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, drop a mermaid emoji down in the comments and let me know how you're doing and what you were working on tonight. Along with that, let me know your thoughts on lives. Would you like it if I went live on Tuesday evenings, you know, like every other week or every few weeks? Or you like keep it more sporadic? There's such thing as too much of a good thing. That's a little presumptuous of me, but that's okay. And again, with having a couple of maybe some Sunday lives sprinkled in there as well for my international friends. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on lives. If you made it all the way to the end of this video and you're not already subscribed, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I share new videos, which is usually a few times a week. Also, if you enjoyed this video and hanging out with me tonight, please give it a thumbs up before you click away. And as always, leave all your comments and thoughts and things in the comment section below. I really enjoy connecting with you guys there and getting to know you all better. You guys are the reason that I do this, and I really am just loving it. So thanks again for watching and hanging out with me tonight. I hope you have a really wonderful week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye, friends.